Okay, Rome part two, and I'm hitting start on my timer. Okay, so this is what we did yesterday, the social classes, and then you worked on your vocab a little bit in class. And then we're dealing with the government today, okay? How the Republican government is set up. Okay, remember, in a republic, some people get to vote. And you don't have a king. Okay? So we're voting for representatives to make our laws for us. All right? Well, in the last unit in Greece, I told you that America, like a lot of our buildings, look Greek because we're kind of paying homage to the Greeks for coming up with democracy. And that's true, except we really get our government. Look at this piece of hair again. We really do get our government, like we copied our government from Rome. I'm not taking anything away from what the founding fathers did, okay? But they basically copy Rome, pretty much. And you should be able to see that by what I'm talking about today, okay? They have three branches. I mean, technically, I guess if you want to get specific, there's four, but whatever. But they have branches of government, just like we do. We have executive, legislative, judicial. Yeah, president, senators, judges. So do they. Their president are the two consuls. Their judges are the two praetors. Their senators or Congress is the Senate. Okay? And we definitely copy them. So all today, you should very obviously be seeing similarities between our government and the Roman government. Okie dokie. Okay. Who can vote in Rome? Male patricians. Okay. Male patricians. All male patricians? Not exactly, but I'll get to that in a minute. Most male patricians. Okay. At the top of the government, you have what are called consuls. There are two of them. Consuls. Okay. In theory, they're supposed to work together. There certainly were times where the consuls butted heads like crazy and nothing got done. I was trying to think. I don't know of an example that you would know, like a famous one. Like when I say Julius Caesar, you've at least heard of him, right? But I don't think there's a famous example of two of them like that. But how many consuls do we have? You're like, none? Are you sure? Because see, the job of the consul, he's the face of the government. He's the face, the one that everybody sees. He's like the leader. Okay? He also is in charge of the military. So he kind of leads Senate meetings and he runs the military. Basically, he is the executor of the Roman government. Executor. You mean like our president? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yes. The consul and the president basically do the same things. Now, the consuls actually had more power than our president does today, but they only were in charge for a year term. Now, you can be a consul however many times you want. How many times can our president run? That's not true. The president can run however many times he wants, I guess. But how many times can he actually serve? Only twice. Not in the case of Rome. In the case of Rome, you could literally be consul 20 times, but you can't run I shouldn't say run, you can't serve for 2 consecutive years. So in Rome, if I'm the consul for 2020, then I can't be the consul for 2021, but I can in 2022. Somebody else has to do it in 23, then I can do it again in 2024. That's kind of what we see a lot, okay, is we see like someone get voted consul and then they just get voted in every time over and over again, but not in consecutive years, okay? 1 year terms. How long is our president's term? Hope you said 4. Theirs is 1. They don't want one man to have too much power like Tarquin the Proud did. So they make it so that the consul only serves as consul for 1 year terms. That's good because the consul can't get too much power. But it's bad because how much can really you get done in 1 year? So the next obvious difference or similarity, whatever you want to think of it as, how many presidents do we have? 1, right? Well, how many consuls did they have? 2. Hey, guess what? We have 2 presidents also. We also have 2 presidents, just like they had 2 consuls. We have the president and a vice president. They had first consul and second consul. Now, the second consul had more power than our vice president did, okay? They were closer to equals, not exactly, but closer to, than, our president and vice president. But still, they had 2, we had 2. Have 2. So the consuls, they are the executive branch. They are the executive branch. They run the government. They control the military. They only serve for 1 year terms, however. But you can be voted in as many times as you want, as long as it isn't for 2 consecutive years. Okay. A lot of the time, historically speaking, we will see somebody be a consul 1 year and then serve somewhere else in the government or military, and then come back and be a consul, and then go back to the battlefield or whatever, and then come back and be a consul, and then go back for a year. We typically see that quite a bit if you look at the history of the Roman Republic. That being said, the second branch of the Roman Republican government, they're the praetors. I know. You're like, Miss, that says praetor. I know. It's Latin. It is said praetor, the praetor. The praetors are the judges. They are the judicial branch. All right? They do what our judges do. They make sure laws are actually constitutional. Okay? However, there is something new that Rome is allowing people to do, and this is a big deal. This is something that we haven't seen happen yet in government as far as like people's rights. Because honestly, people's rights, it's not something we really see this early in history very much. That's more like a next semester thing for us. But we do have a right here. The Roman government allows you to have the right to face your accuser. You're like, okay, what does that mean? That means if you say that I hit you, okay? Do you remember under the Code of Hammurabi? If you say that I hit you, I'm automatically guilty. Nobody cares. I'm guilty. They're not going to deal with it. Not here. In this situation where people are allowed to face their accusers, that means in a court type setting, you actually have the plaintiff and the defendant, and they face each other, and they stand in front of a praetor with basically what we would think of as a lawyer, and they say their side of the story. The praetor listens, and then he makes a judgment. If you say, I hit you, the right to face my accuser says this. I can look at you and the praetor and say, that's not exactly true. Yes, I hit her or him. But see, it was because I was excited and I was dancing and I was like, boom! And I hit him and it was an accident. Oops. I get to face you and tell you what actually happened. That's a big deal. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal because we're very used to that in our country. Not even our country, in like the world. That's what happens. Not this early in history, though. This early in history, quite often, if somebody accused you of something, guilty, because the kings, man, they don't have time to deal with that crap. They don't have time to sit there and figure out who's telling the truth and stuff. Guilty. Sorry. Not in Rome. In Rome, you have the right to face your accuser. Okay. The third branch of the government is the Senate. In America, we call it the Congress. Now in America, we have two different sections of the Congress. We have the Senate, and then we have the House of Representatives. Rome does not. Rome only has the Congress. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the word Congress. Just kidding. Rome only has the Senate. That's it. They only have one house. Okay. The senators, it's a group of roughly 300 men. Okay. They're all patricians. And when they get voted in as a senator, they are there for life. They are there for life. Is that good? Yeah, I mean, that means they're experienced. They know what to do. Yeah. Could it be bad? Yeah. If you're there for life, then that means that really the only time that senators get replaced is when they die. So basically, the Senate tends to be a whole bunch of old dudes. And that's okay. I'm not knocking that because of the experience level. But what that does is it doesn't allow Rome to easily change with the times. Who are the more, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. People who want to change things in society. Those people who want to change things tend to be the younger crowd. Well, if we have 298 dudes who are all over the age of 60 and only 2 young men in the Senate, can we get a lot done for the young people? No. So there's nothing wrong with this. Nothing. Unless you would like to see more change. Progressive. That's the word I was looking for. Who are the more progressive people typically in societies? Usually the younger generation. Usually they're the people that want to see changes. That's what I was looking for, progressive. That's the only thing that's going to be a problem here. As far as the senators also, what we see historically, unfortunately, is a lot of laws passed due to shady deals, or laws passed due to bribery, or laws passed for quid pro quo. Quid pro quo. That means I'll give you this if you pass this for me. I'll pay you if you pass this law for me. We do see corruption in the Roman Senate, unfortunately. I think you could argue that you see corruption in any government at any given time, but that's another story. But that's just something that we see. Right or wrong, we see it. The senators make laws, okay? They make a law, and then what's the word? The law goes to the praetors, I'm sorry, to make sure that the law is legal. Then the consul carries it out. Guys, it's our government, just like our government. The Congress passes a law. The judges, the judicial branch, make sure it's legal based on the Constitution. And then you have the president, who's the face, who carries out the laws. This should be easy because it's exactly what our government is. This is a painting of the senators' chambers, the Senate building. What you have here is the floor where the person who's speaking would stand down here on the floor, okay? And you notice the room is rounded. That is actually so that sound can, carry farther. They don't have microphones yet and stuff. So you need to look up and move around so that the sound carries. It's kind of opposite of what we do today. Like typically today, the audience is sitting down and looking up at a stage. Not in this situation. In this situation, the person speaking is down looking up at an audience. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of different to us. Look at this poor guy. Don't you wonder what's happening? Me too. Anyway, but this right here, this is what the Senate building might have looked like. Okay. Look at this. There is another branch of the government that we don't have in America. It's called the Tribunes. The Tribunes were two elected men who are plebeians. The only way that you can be in the government if you're a plebeian, the only way is if you're elected to be a plebeian. Oh, I'm sorry, is if you're elected to be a tribune. That's the only way you can be in the government, unless you're a patrician. The purpose of the tribune is to speak for the plebeians. It's really pretty cool that Rome even created this position. I mean, it's crappy. I know that they don't let everybody vote. I get that, okay? But it's pretty progressive that they actually have this position in the government. These two tribunes are supposed to, in a Senate meeting, go, excuse me, senators, you can't raise the taxes anymore because the people are starving. Or they're supposed to say, excuse me, senators, we need to make some kind of food law because there's a problem with people on the streets starving. See, typically what you're going to see with the rich people, the patricians, the nobility, they don't know what Bob on the street is living like. They don't see the peasants. They don't see how they live. They only see how they live because they live in neighborhoods surrounded by their own people, their own patricians. The idea of the tribune is to speak for the plebeian, to tell the senators, okay, let me tell you what's going on in the marketplace, or let me tell you about this or that, or starvations or famines or whatever. That's kind of their role. Now, you and I both know. Are they listened to a lot? You and I both know. Are they going to be bribed a lot? Uh-huh. Spoiler alert! When there are two tribunes, and we'll get there, when there are two tribunes who really want to do right by their people, and they're like, darn it, senators, listen! They're gonna mysteriously disappear. Oops, what happened to them? They're called the Gracchus brothers. That's their last name, Gracchus. They just mysteriously disappear. One of their bodies is found bloated in the river. The other one, never seen again. What happened to him? I don't know. Historically speaking, we assumed the senators had them murdered. Why? because they weren't doing what the senators wanted them to. Of course, that causes all kinds of drama, but I'll get there. Okay. So just understand the idea of the tribunes is a great, awesome, really progressive idea to give the lower class plebeians some kind of voice. Even if it's a crappy low level voice that very few people listen to, at least they have a voice. Yeah? Finally, we have what's called the 12 tables. The 12 tables. The 12 tables is just their constitution. We have a constitution, they have a 12 tables. This is their set of laws. They realized pretty early on, you gotta have laws written down. We talked about this when we talked about Hammurabi's code. Yeah? You need laws written down, or you can change them at the drop of a hat. At any whim, you can change it. We want the laws written down. Plus, plebeians can't read, but tribunes can. Most plebeians cannot read, but the tribune can. And so you could say, yeah, taxes are 30%. When the 12 tables says taxes are 10%. If it's written down and the tribune can read it, they can say, you're being corrupt. That's not accurate. Taxes are not 30%, they are 10. I just made up those numbers. The 12 tables are called the 12 tables because it's 12 really big bronze tablets that their laws are etched into. Guys, we have papyrus by now, so why didn't they just write these on papyrus? They wanted to make it last. I know, papyrus can last too, whatever. But the idea is if you etch it into bronze, I think it's bronze. I think they're bronze. But if you etch it into these tables, these tablets, they'll last a lot longer than if it's on papyrus. This is a picture of the 12 tables right here. Okay, what you're looking at is the 12 tables on a big wall in a museum. Okay, so they're big tablets on a wall in a museum. All right. Something interesting to note. I know you can't read them. I can't read them either. It's in Latin anyway. You notice here, I hope? This table is pretty full. Look at the writing here. This table isn't full. Look here. Look here. There's a law there, and then there's a law there. What? Look at these laws, or these tables. You can see this table here is pretty full. This table here, there's some space. There's a lot of space. Look at this. This one's okay. This one's kind of full. Look at this table. Why are the tables not full? Well, this is what each of the 12 tables, like what type of law each of the 12 tables is. Okay. They divided up the laws based on what type of law it is. So everything on table 1 is laws about courts and trials. Table 1, laws about courts and trials. So there's a lot of stuff. Everything on table 2, it's laws about trials, continued, and theft, stealing. Table 3, debt. Table 4, the rights of the father in the family. Table 4. Daddy doesn't have a lot of rights, does he? Mama doesn't have any, so don't get excited. And that's not really true. Women did have some rights in Rome. Patrician women, and not a lot, okay? They can inherit land, they can't buy land. So it's kind of weird, but they do have some rights, okay? They're just not in the 12 tables. Let me go to the next page. Where's my arrow? Okay, right here, table 5. Legal guardianship and inheritance laws. Women could inherit land. If my father dies and my brother dies, and I'm the only person left, I get to inherit my dad's land, but I can't buy it. Why? Because I'm a woman. So I can inherit it, but I can't buy it. I didn't make the laws, don't get mad at me. Okay. Okay, right here, acquisition and possession, land rights and crimes, torts, I just like that word. Laws of injury, that's what that is. Injury, beating people up and crap. This one, public law, sacred law, that's religious. And then look at the last 2 tables. Supplement 1, supplement 2. Okay, look, this is so smart. When Rome created the 12 tables, the 2 supplements, the idea was that they're blank tables. Okay, we see a law here. What was added? I don't know. But the idea with these is that they're blank. The Roman government was like, if we want these laws to last, then we need to make a way for people to add to the laws. They understood that there are going to be things that come up that we can't foresee. So let's leave a blank tablet and add to it. Do we do that? Yes, we do. They're called amendments. Amendments. Like traffic laws. Guys, at the beginning of the 1800s, or even when our country was created, there were no traffic laws because there were no cars. No traffic laws at all. Well, now we have traffic laws, right? We've had to add, amend, and create traffic laws. That's what this is for. So that whenever they created this, they're like, okay, in case something gets created that we never could foresee happening. That's what this is for. Y'all, that is brilliant. Yes, there's corruption in the Roman Republican government. And yes, that's a shame, and you probably shouldn't be very surprised. But in all honesty, this form of government works fairly well. It does. It works fairly well. And allowing this right here, these blank pieces, oh my gosh, y'all, that is so smart. It's so wise to admit that you don't know everything. It is. It is so wise of them to create this, saying, look, we don't have it all figured out. We don't know everything, and we know that there are going to be things that need to be added at a later date. We want to leave a blank slate for that. Brilliant. Beautiful. Yeah. The Roman Republican government works pretty well. Till it doesn't. And then it just crashes and burns, y'all. But we're getting there. It's a good, juicy story. You're going to feel like you're watching, like, I don't know, some daytime soap opera or something. It's all dramatic. Okay. Do I want to go on? I don't want to go on because I won't get through all this in one class. So we'll stop here with the government and we'll start next with the military. Bye-bye.